Hey, Miles here at Tactical Hyve. Another Sunday, another video about competition shooting, and today we're going to focus on the draw, specifically index points. When you're reaching for your gun to draw, there are different techniques that you can use to have an index point to establish a good master grip, as some would call it. A lot of different techniques, as I just mentioned, so what you need to do is you need to explore what's going to work best for you, what's most comfortable. And there are different index points when you might be drawing with your arms to the side, or you might be drawing from what they refer to as the surrender position. What I'm going to share are a few different techniques, which, once again, try it out to see what works best for you. Let's just start with what you might encounter. If you're new to competition shooting and may have focused on defensive or kind of tactical style training, a lot of trainers will teach the push down technique here, where they are going to, wherever their hands are, whether it's over here, they'll come, arms come up, hands come up, or from here, they clamp down, they push down on the gun. And it's a valid technique, there's nothing wrong with that. If you do use that technique, the one thing I would recommend though is you don't need to push down hard. You'll see some people, I'm gonna unholster my gun for now, and I am dry. But what I wanna show you is that some, when they use the push down technique, they push so hard that you could literally see the gun and the holster. I'm trying to, it's pretty tight here so you can't see it, but they push down so hard that the gun will go down. And so that's inefficient movement. You don't really need to push down that hard to establish a good grip. But that is a valid technique because it allows you to get the web of your hand high up on the beaver tail or the tang of the pistol here, so that when you start wrapping your hands around, you know that when you grip and start to draw, you're gonna have a good master grip on here, a good purchase on the gun. There are other ways to do that though, and some are going to argue other methods are more efficient, and once again, explore what you find best. And the truth is, do it under a timer. You'll notice what technique is best for you. But for those of you who are used to one technique, just keep in mind, let's say you're using this push down technique, you've used it practically all your shooting career, then this is what's going to feel comfortable for you. So don't discount the other techniques I'm going to share with you. Give that a fair try, and after some time, then put it to a test, time it, see what's going to be faster for you. Remember, in competition shooting, speed really is important. That's factored into your score, so you will want to find what is efficient. That said, let's cover a few other techniques that you might have seen out in the wild, and that I definitely have, and I want to share that with you so you can choose from them and experiment. So let's start with hands to the side. We already talked about there are a lot of people who, they won't really touch the gun or anything like that. They're just going to bring the gun up and then drive it down. Okay. There is another method that is very, very similar, but what they'll do is they're going to touch the handle, whether it's with the palm of some part of their hand or forearm, so that they know where the gun is. So instead of just a wild push down with no contact with the gun, I'll use a common example where the hand will come up to index, so you know where the gun is, and then they drive down. Okay, so that's another technique. So I'm here from the side, they'll touch it with the hand, whether it's the palm of the hand, whatever it is, but they're touching it so they know where it is, then they drive down. That technique can be also used if you're using the surrender position here. So if it's the fingers, you touch with the fingers and then you drive down. Remember, don't drive more than you need to. It's just wasted movement. And from the surrender position, remember it could be the palm, it might be something else, but you're touching it before you're driving down. Okay, so that is a variation of the push down technique. Now let's cover another index point. So some, what they'll do is from their hands down here, what they are going to do is they're going to index by using the middle finger, okay, of their firing hand. So if you see this holster here, they'll drive it up here and get a contact point. Let me lift the pistol here so you can see it. This middle finger, they're actually going to get it under the trigger guard here. Okay, where it typically would place when they have their proper firing grip. So if someone was here and they feel that middle finger where it typically would be with their grip, now they begin to wrap around and then draw the firearm. Okay, so that is another index point where I'm here, okay, and the middle finger touches the grip, wrap around, and then I do everything else, complete the draw. Right, so that is another index point. If it is from here, okay, there's variations to this. Again, these are techniques, so it's a matter of style. Everyone might have a little variation, but these are kind of like the wave tops, so that when you see this in the wild, you kind of understand what they're doing. So here, a surrender position, one can do the same thing, And now it's kind of a combination. So some have done it so much so that they can actually get the middle finger right here, indexed immediately, okay? But what I have seen and what I find has worked best for me is it's kind of a combination of the two. Like the first, I'll have an index point. I've touched it either like with the inside of my hand, and then I wrap around with the middle finger, then complete the draw. But that is a possibility as well. The fourth way to index for your draw is kind of a hybrid or variation of what we've already covered, where I talked about how some people will teach or use the technique where you have some kind of touch point, whether it's your fingers, hands, something like that, where bringing their arm up or hand up and touching somehow here. This is when your arms are on the side here. There's another method for when your arms are relaxed, okay, on your side, and the index point is no longer touching the gun here. The index point is somewhere, it's your forearm touching the grip of your gun, the mag well, or your holster, something, okay? There's something that is your touch point already where your hands are on the side. So when that buzzer sounds, you know that when you raise your gun up, all you gotta do is wrap your hands around, okay? Wrap your hands around and press down on the beaver tail and the tang behind the grip. Okay, so that is a variation. It is not something that happens from here though, from the surrender position, because the touch point is here when my hands are relaxed. I'm touching the holster and I know where my gun is, right? So to differentiate it, the other technique was where they're actually moving their hand and getting the touch point somewhere up here, and then this one is, it's already when your arms are relaxed, okay? So that is the fourth variation that you can try out. So there you go, 4 different ways you can index your draw so that you will have a better chance of having a good master grip when you draw. Remember, these are techniques. There's going to be variations out there, and you're going to have to find what works best for your own style. That said, give each technique a try. Obviously, the one that you've been doing pretty much your entire shooting career is going to be probably perform the best because you're most comfortable with it and you've had the most reps with it. But who knows, you might be surprised if you give the other techniques some time, you might end up being faster. Let me know how things go for you in the comments. And if you want to see more videos like this, like, comment, subscribe. We'll see you next Sunday.